Good evening, welcome back to Slip Grip Simracing here on YouTube. We're here for round 3 of our Renault Clio Cup series. We should just be at the start of the qualifying, which indeed we are, and we just see Joe Challoner heading out, finding everyone heading out on the circuit. So yeah, here at Oulton Park on the short Foster's layout. For this evening, we have 16 drivers in tonight, so a couple down on last week, unfortunately, and still not up to our full grid that we've got signed up. But anyway, at least we're here with a healthy grid. Evening, Ash. Thank you for joining again and being in the chat. So yeah, as always, the guys just finished a little practice session at the start of the evening and are into a 15-minute qualifying session, so quite a short little session this one, and everyone just has to get on with it, really. That's the point of it. Keep it short and close. Guys only get a few laps at it, really, and everyone, as you can see, is left in one big train for the most part, so they'll all be hoping to be able to follow each other. So we've got chaos already from, is that Harrison Full? No, that's Matt Cross then. Yeah, who had got it all wrong. I think Ian is having quite a few internet issues there. It looks like that car was lagging all over the place. So yeah, the guys are just coming around for their first flying laps. As I say, there was all in a big train, so you can see that's Jake Biggerstaff at the front of this group, in front of Matt Cross, Rob Fowler, it's Tom Simpkins, I believe that's Matt Johnston that was behind him. I didn't see which colour banner was on the roof of the car. Looks like a black one to me, so that should be Matt Johnston. And we'll see how it goes. So Matt Cross, the first to put a representative time in here, in front of Rob Fowler. Rob Fowler having a really good target to aim at, and indeed he does go quickest. He does stay fastest. I thought Tom had overtook when I saw the times going up there. Matt Davies now takes provisional pole, so he must be. Oh, he's just off the back of these guys actually. So doing it all on his own in that classic Renault Laguna Super Tourer livery, or Super Tourer inspired livery that he's put on that Clio, matching what Joe Challoner's done with the yellow and blue version, the slightly earlier version, for those that are into the now classic touring cars, the Super Tourer era. So, let's see. Also, before I forget as well, quick mention for Niels Brewer, Beef on the screen, who we can't see from that camera set, but he's stepping in to do the safety car for us this evening, and unfortunately has been called in to work, so Ant Brown, who was safety carring for us last week, although we didn't get to see him, is having to work late. So yeah, unfortunately on my own for commentary again, as Rob Fowler gets it all wrong through turn 1, trying to carry way too much speed there and straight into the barriers. Yeah, so Niels has dropped in. He's been told the procedures and that we follow for this, so hopefully, if he's needed, all should be well. As we see, Matt Davies has gone top of the pile, and I believe that is the fastest lap we've seen at Oulton in these cars. I know during the practice sessions on the lead up to this evening throughout the weeks, some of the guys, the chat in the Discord was that a 106.9 was a pretty crazy lap time, and as you can see, he's beaten that with a 106.8. So Joe is his good mate is gonna try and follow him now, as I say, in that yellow and blue, also Laguna inspired livery. Yeah, Matt Johnston up into second place as well, so Matt Johnston currently second in the standings behind Tom Simpkins. So Matt actually shedding 5 kilos of ballast for this week, which the ballast does appear to be making quite a bit of difference with these cars. I know historically we've always run ballast in the cars, and I'm sure it has made a little bit of difference to their performance for the most part, but certainly in these Clios it seems to be having a much bigger and more detrimental effect to the grid and the drivers that have got especially the heavier weights on board the car. So it's actually just helping to keep the pack close together. We can see the so we've got Mark Roddenberry is a couple seconds off the pace, but all the other drivers are sort of within a second, as Ian on the side there having a few issues still, unfortunately. I'm sure we'll get that sorted before long. Did Joe move up there? No, Joe still remains in 10th place at the minute. We've just gone past 9 minutes to go in this session. No movers and shakers at the minute. Just have a look a bit further up. We've got Matt Cross still in 3rd. So Matt got a little bit of ballast now, but still relatively light, I think, compared to sort of the top championship protagonists at the moment. This, of course, being the sort of first round that he had, where I believe he had PC issues, or he missed race 2 anyway, so his score is probably not fully representative of his championship so far. And after this round, moving into the next round, there will be a drop score applied to all the drivers, so it should balance things out a little bit more in terms of the championship positions and the ballast thereafter. See Chris Brewster's returning as well this week after missing last week, so it's good to see him in his Drip Hacks Clio. Try and have a look at an onboard, I think, shall we soon? Let's see. We'll wait for Matt Johnston to come down to Lodge Corner, the final corner. Should hopefully, let's get a better view of this. So we'll come on board as we exit Lodge Corner, and then up across the start finish line. Apologies, I don't know all of the corner names at Oulton Park as we go through turn 1, so that looked like it was a bit messy there. You could see it was getting opposite locked through turn 1, but as you get this slight right and left, turns 2 and 3, the car wants to break away when they get onto the brakes for the right-hander. And again, this bit I believe should be flat out in these cars, it certainly is. And then they're coming up to Clay Hill, a part of the track I do actually know, so yeah, up under Clay Hill. And then you get just a little left kink here just before the braking zone into Druids Corner. So this is a double apex, you see, hit the first apex, go slightly wide, and then hit that second apex before driving out the other side of the corner, and then down again into Lodge Corner. So real quick lap, just over a minute long. And I would say realistically our the best opportunities to overtake on this circuit is either Lodge Corner or turn 1. So we're all using the runoff on the exit there. Anyone else moved up? So Tom, Chris Brewster goes up to 2nd, so making the most of being ballast free at the moment, and sneaks himself in front. Ben Hanks there on the grass had a bit of a nightmare. I was about to comment on Tom being down in 10th. He's moved himself back up to 6th place, so he'll be happy with that. He's gained a few tenths on his lap time, and that's brought him right back into contention. If he can find another 10th, he could potentially put himself on the 2nd row. I know he has been struggling a little bit with that 35 kilos on board. He, oh, as Matt's going to finish off. Yeah, he said especially up the hill here at Clay Hill, he's losing time just because he's carrying that extra weight. But is he able to do anything about it? Can he potentially get himself up into them top 4 positions? Ideally, he'd like to be 3rd place, I would say, so he's in front of Matt Johnston, or at least alongside him. As he just clips the grass on the exit, the lodge corner there. He's got Jake Biggerstaff, I believe, behind him. Yeah, so Tom pulls to the side, so he's going to go back into the pits to get some fresh rubber, ready to come round again. I should like the same car race, makes it more interesting. Yeah, it can do. I think it depends on the class with the single make series. Certainly the Clios, the fact that they're front wheel drive and relatively low powered, it makes them a lot easier to drive, so therefore it keeps the pack just a lot closer together. I think when you get those sort of bigger, more powerful cars, especially once you get sort of rear wheel drive cars into it as well, it tends to spread the pack a little bit as some of the sort of more experienced, naturally quicker guys probably just pull away that little bit more. But yeah, these Clios have been great so far. Been some really, really good racing. Niels, you're in the chat. Good to see it. So the STs was pretty close racing as well. Yeah, I didn't see the last week's, well, this Sunday just gone, unfortunately, but certainly the first round that we did had a lot of packs running as well, so yeah, did work well. So see Tom make his way round. Just a bit of flames from the car there as he tips it into the right-hander. As Mark Roddenberry way off in off the circuit there. I don't know what he was doing out there, but he's teleported back to the pit. So Mark, how's he getting on? So he has managed to get quite a bit of time back on himself. So I think he's getting about 6/10 since the last time I looked at him. So he's much closer to the pack. And Ian, thankfully, he's managed to get a bit more of a representative time in. So it's good to see. Who else is moving around? So we've still got those top, well, if you ignore Matt Davies in pole position at the minute, it's second to, well, onwards, so second to 12th, we're looking at half a second, so nothing in it. And Tom's going to go for one, he should get 2 laps, so he'll get this next lap and another one afterwards, providing he doesn't make any mistakes. We'll go have a look at someone else, shall we? So Jake Biggerstaff in 5th, and he's got Matt Johnston behind him there. As I say, Matt's in 3rd, desperately trying to make his way. Oh, Jake goes into 2nd and only just off Matt Davis's time, so Matt Davis has gone back to the pits. And he'd have to get out quickly if he wants to try and put another lap in. I don't think he will. I think he's settled for that. He's going to struggle for time. Oh, as Jake gets it wrong, he's on the grass. I think that's what Mark Roddenberry did as well earlier. So Jake, he's got enough time to get round again and have another go at it. But yeah, moves himself up into 2nd and on the front row. Only the 2 guys in the 106s at the moment. Chris Brewster just outside of that mark. He's got Tom Simpkins tucked up behind his rear wing now, so these guys will go for one last lap. Can Tom do anything following Chris? Oh, I would say following Chris, but Chris has made an absolute mess of that, and also one of the mini eggs cars in the background I saw was on the grass as well. So yeah, those guys making a bit of a hash of that run. But we'll stick on board with Tom anyway. He's got Joe Challoner behind him as well. So Joe in 10th at the minute. He's got a good target in Tom if Tom's able to improve on his lap time. He's a good car to chase. You see him come through Drew, so Tom looking pretty smooth, a little bit wide, not near the apex. Whether he was able to carry the momentum or not, we don't know. Joe getting it wrong, we see across the grass, so that's Joe's attempt. Finished in this qualifying session. Tom on the power, using all the curb, but no more than that. Going to complete the lap. Does he improve? No, he doesn't, because he's started sliding already. So Tom going to start down in 7th place. I think everyone else has come through to complete the lap. Matt Crossit's saying has got another lap, which I don't know why really. Only Mark Raddenbury's still on his way. Oh, has he hit the dreaded hole in the map? Yeah, we haven't mentioned, but yeah, there is a little bit of hole in the map, unfortunately, at Clay Hill. So yeah, the guys, well, most of our guys know to avoid that. I do wonder if Mark was unaware of said holes, because that was his car well and truly barrel rolling through the air. So anyway, we shall wait for the start. Let's see, can we have, what is our camera sets like for this time? Let's have a, yeah, I know some of the camera sets aren't amazing again. It's always a struggle with the start line one, but the car's looking glorious as always on the grid. We'll just wait. We've got a 3-minute wait time before the start of the race, just to give the guys a chance if they need to make any last minute setup changes, etc. Got a little some messages come through. Apologies, just wanted to check. Okay, so we've sorted with that, that's fine. Sorry, I was just catching up with messages on our Discord. It's in relation to Ian's lag that he was having. So let's get back to it. Yeah, so just waiting for the lights to come up. So we do have 26 drivers signed up to this series. I know of a couple absentees we can't do much about, but hopefully some more of those guys will come back. If not, we should have some slots on the grid available if anyone has already liked what they've seen and they want to come and have a go. We cater for all skill levels, so don't be afraid. And also we run a set of Corsa Competizione on a Sunday, so we're currently running a Lamborghini Huracan ST Championship, the Super Trofeos, with the old model car, not the new one at the moment. We started the series before the new DLC pack came out, so yeah, we're running the old one for now, and then we'll decide what we're doing with the season after that. But yeah, these clears, we've still got another 5 rounds after this one to go, so plenty of racing still to go in this. So we've got 10 seconds until the start of this race. Thank you to the 8 people that are tuned in at the moment. Hope you stick around and do chat with us. So we wait for the lights to go out. Who is going to get the best start? And that looked like a good start for Matt Davies there actually, so hopefully I can get a bit better camera set going. That's Matt Davies, definitely held the car through turn 1. They all go wide, filtering out. Some guys worse than others, but everyone appears to be through without major incidents. That's through. So Matt Davies does hold on in front of Jake Biggerstaff at the moment. with Matt Johnston already flashing the lights. You can see that Rothman's livery car flashing all the way through to Druids, hoping that these two guys at the front are going to have a bit of contact and leave the door open for him. There's a little bit of wheels on the grass there as Jake Biggerstaff already trying to make a move. He looks to the outside. Thought he might try and have a look at a switch back there, but it wasn't on, so already they're slowing each other up. And Matt Johnston, he's getting ready to pounce. Oh, there's been an incident at the back as though... How many drivers involved? There's Mark, Dave, Ben. I think it's all separate though. We don't have... yeah, unfortunately, we don't have... Oh. Okay, I think the guys have called a safety car on their own there, so they must have done. Yeah. From what we saw on the cameras, it was only showing 2 cars there. I did see 3 names, but wasn't totally sure. So the guys have took it upon themselves. We would normally we would normally continue the race through to the start-finish line when a safety car's called, but because the guys have done it in the chat themselves, they've obviously called for the safety car on this lap. So there's Niels waiting at the pit lane exit. Oh, there's been carnage at the back of the pack, so it's probably a good job we've got the safety car called actually, whilst everyone can get back together. So yeah, Matt Davies still leading them round, so he should come to join Niels very soon. Everyone in their, everyone should be keeping their positions in the pack, and hopefully we'll see. There he goes. Ah, working perfectly. Yeah, it's do like it when the safety car comes out. We don't want safety car situations too often. Obviously, we like to see the racing, but it does look cool on stream to see the car out there with the lights flashing and blazing, and all these guys lining up. So I think everyone should be at the back of the pack. They are, so I will make sure. Put a message to say that the safety car will be in this lap. There we go, so his lights are off. Niels will continue round. Yeah, he should get going. So yeah, so Niels has just started to accelerate a little bit. Matt Davies is resuming control of the pack. So it's going to be down to him when the restart occurs. So you can see he's just holding the pack up now. He's letting Niels go. Oh, as Rob Fowler almost lost it there on the grass. So he's going to hold him up, hold him up, hold him up. And when's he going to go? And he's gone. He's got the car going. And he's had a clean getaway there. He's managed to gain a couple car lengths, so he should be okay going into turn 1. Certainly is. So slightly wide, missing the apex. He's going to go wide. Not too bad. He manages to recover it. So yeah, a clean getaway. But here comes Jake. Going to be all over the bumper, a dab of the brakes through the left, and gets the car slowed down for the right-hander. So these guys all move on. Thank you to the 10 viewers so far. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe and stay involved, get involved in the chat. So we see him come into Druids then. I've got Matt Davies followed by Jake Biggerstaff and Matt Johnston. Chris Brewster is in 4th after losing a couple of positions from the start of this race. You just see one of the guys in the background, I think that's Dan Lewis, is having a look at Rob Fowler. He's down the inside. He's probably going to go slightly wide, and here comes Rob Fowler on the switchback. So Dan trying to get that move done. He's not able to make it stick at the minute. Those guys are going to remain side by side into turn 1. Rob should have that line covered, and he does. Oh, that's Chris Brewster that's rally crossing, so that's Chris into the barriers, and he's going to lose a lot of places here. Indeed he does. He goes down to 10th place. He's going to be in the way of Matt McKenzie, and Joe getting it very, very sideways when he's trying to avoid Chris Brewster there, but manages to recover it. So we'll just have a look. Oh, Rob Fowler's had an incident as well. So Rob Fowler just saw battling with Dan Lewis, and he's now down in 14th place. He's probably going to lose another position, is he? No, not quite. Dave Rose, I think, has had a bit of a mare as well in the start of this race. Unfortunate for him. So let's just cut back to the leaders as Jake again is looking for that outside line. Matt Davies covering off the inside, but Jake's going to go right round the outside of him. And he appears to have carried the momentum. He might even be in front by the time he gets to turn 1. Yes, he is. So he's got that car in front. Matt Davies is going to have a look. He's going to have a look, show his nose, but Jake leaves him plenty of room. He's across the grass, but he gets it recovered. And those guys live on to carry on this fight. It's come down to that heavy braking zone into the right-hander. And out again, so Jake got the move done. Is he able to make a breakaway at all? These two the quickest by a few tenths in that qualifying session. And you can see they are, even with the squabbles, pulling away from Matt Johnston, who's in 3rd at the moment. Just a reminder that both Jake and Matt Davies are ballast free at the moment, so not a surprise to see them at the front. But yeah, that's certainly not over. Matt Davies is sticking right to the bumper of Jake. Matt Johnston's just got that little bit of a cushion himself over Matt Cross. And Tom Simpkins, who's made his way up to 5th from 7th on the grid. So he'll be happy so far, I think, or certainly content. He's managed to make some positions, not lose anything. He's not really under any threat at the moment. He's got Dan Lewis behind him, who in turn has got Harrison a second behind him. And Ross Parker there in 8th place, with the recovering Chris Brewster as well. So this could turn into a good little battle, to be fair. Ross surprisingly low down, actually, I would say, for him. He's had a really good start to this championship, and he normally does really well in the front wheel drive cars. So yeah, probably a surprise to see him in 8th. He would have hoped to have been a little bit further up, but there's still time, plenty of time left tonight and in this race and the rest of the evening. Just saw Ben Hanks and Joe Challoner going side by side as well, coming out of Druid. So that's Joe through past Ben and into Lodge Corner. So yeah, that's another position gain for Joe Challoner, which, to be fair, oh, and Ben is actually coming to attack back, is he? Yes, he is. This is a pro versus an am, so Ben doing well to be battling with Joe. In fact, who is... I think Harrison is your current AM class leader? Yes, he is. Yeah, so all the guys in front are a pro. We do have the 2 categories. And yeah, so Harrison is currently your AM class leader as it stands, which is good to see. In the delightful Mini Eggs livery. I don't mean that sarcastically. I genuinely think it's a good looking little car. That as Ross Parker's got a good exit from Druids there. He's got the car down the inside into Lodge Corner. Bit of a block pass there as well, because Harrison was certainly looking at making a switchback. But it's certainly not done yet, so Ross covers that line. He comes back across again, ready for the braking zone to take that racing line. So Ross holds on to that position after gaining it. And he's up into 7th place. Excuse me. So just looking at the gaps, actually, Matt Davies, since hitting the front of this race, has actually managed to gain some car lengths back. So yeah, sorry, I missed Matt going back to the front of this field, but yeah, got that second gap now. And if Jake's not careful, he will fall back into the clutch to Matt Johnston. So you see, oh, Ben Hanks has had a bit of a nightmare again. He's lost a couple places there, so it's unfortunate for Ben, but he keeps going. He's not too far off the back of the pack. Yeah, he's got Rob Fowler and Mark in front of him. So yeah, could have been a lot worse in that instant. Who else is close on this track? So still this battle for 7th with Ross Parker. Quite surprising actually, we've had a little bit of a field spread. It's not normally too bad in these cars. Oh, as Chris Brewster absolutely sends it through turn 1, so he's gone rally crossing again. And he's going to have lost a lot of time to these two. As Harrison keeping a tight line there, and he was really quick through that section actually. Almost got the nose down the inside of Ross through the right-hander, and he's all over the rear bumper of him. Desperate to try and gain that position back. Just wondering if they're actually making any time on Dan Lewis and Tom here, because to me it does look a little bit closer on track, but that might be me just forgetting what the gaps were. We'll have to see what the lap times are at the end of this lap. But already looking at just 4 laps to go, so this race flying by. Harrison is looking at getting through, so Harrison quick there with a 107.8, so yeah, certainly helping push Ross along. They're not gaining on Dan Lewis at the moment overall, but certainly Harrison, the youngest member of our group by quite a way, I would say. Just 14 is Harrison. But, oh, thanks for the subscription. Well, we got Create a Little Band. Thank you very much. Good to see you. Message from Ash. Ian quit. I think Ian's still having internet issues. Plus 3 laps. I mean, he's okay at the moment, but hopefully he'll be back for race 2 and 3. Yeah, he was having some lagging issues earlier in the evening. We'll just keep with this battle that's still enraging for P7. Harrison looks to the left, he's looking to the right, still not quite able to get that car alongside. Starting to run out of laps now to do something. He's got 3 laps as Chris goes wide again. Everyone else has spread out a little bit. This is your closest battle. Although saying that, I've just seen there's been a good chunk of time made up by Jake Biggerstaff in second to Matt Davies. So we'll cut back to them in a sec. I think Harrison just made a slight error there and he's cost him a few car lengths. He's going to fall back into Chris Brewster's clutches. Meanwhile, at the front, so this gap has come right down to 4 tenths as they go into the penultimate lap. They come down and then back up the hill again and across the start-finish line. So it's going to have been a good lap, I think, from Jake. It is a 107.2, so yeah, not a particularly slow lap or by any means by Matt Davies, but just a good lap from Jake at 107.2, and you can see they've gained a second further on Matt Johnston third, who's still got Matt Cross the second half behind. So Jake is going to have, he is going to have a lap to do it, but Matt Davies has opened the door wide open for him with a big mistake there onto the grass. And Jake says, thank you very much, I'll take that from you. And I think Matt has potentially blown this because he's only got about a lap and a half to go. And that gap is already at 7/10 after that mistake. And we've seen it's very, very little between these guys this evening. So those few tenths could be enough. He's going to have to make some ground desperately over the next couple corners if he's going to have any shot at trying to line Jake up for a move into Lodge Corner, I would say. Here they go then into that final lap through turn one, both using all the runoff on the exit of the corner. Certainly not slowing them down. See the car going light on the brakes just through the left. Get it turned through the right-hander. Jake holding his own. He's lost about a tenth, but certainly not going to be enough for Matt Davies as it stands. And go up through Clay Hill again. And on the way to Druids Corner at this right-hander. As long as Jake gets a clean run through here, he should be good to take the victory in this race. It's down to half a second, but it's still going to be too far for Matt Davies to be able to do anything about from there. It's too far back, so Jake will hold on and make his way across the line to take the race victory from Matt Davies. We see Matt Johnston, Matt Cross, all the Matts. Tom Simpkins holds on to 5th in front of Dan Lewis. Ross Parker in 7th. Harrison does stay in front of Chris Brewster for 8th and 9th. Matt McKenzie will take 10th place. And Dave Rose, who comes back into 11th place. And then we'll just be waiting for Ben Hanks. Here comes Ben Hanks. And Matt Reddenbury, Joe Challoner, who's had an absolute nightmare of a race. Rob Fowler's got a DNF as well, so I'm not sure what's happened with Rob, but he appears to have left the server actually, so let's not sure what's happened with that. Okay, so yeah, that is all the drivers for this evening. So Ian, unfortunately, is I think he's left the server as well. Yeah, so that should be it. Everyone should be across the line and finish. We will wait for the server to turn over. There we go, and I can get myself set up. So I will just go to an little intermission just whilst I sort out the servers for the next race, and we will be back very shortly. There we go. So hopefully everything should load and be sorted. Yeah, so a couple minutes before the start of the race. Everyone appears to be in the correct positions, which is good. So let's get that camera set again. So say we've got just over a minute or so before we start race 2. So race 2, another 14 lapper. We're going to be starting in the positions that everyone finished race 1. Ballast is going to stay the same. We keep the ballast the same through the evening, just to make it easier for me essentially to set up the server, and I can get the turnaround a lot quicker. And then the top 12 from this race, so we've only got the 15 drivers, so 3 drivers will miss out on the reverse grid in this for race 3. So that top 12, which is currently occupied by Ben Hanks in 12th place, they will reverse. So yeah, Ben Hanks potentially could be looking at another pole position if he can remain there, but knowing Ben, he'll probably finish 13th. It's his speciality. So yeah, we've got 6 viewers at the minute. Welcome to the 6 viewers. We shouldn't be too far away from the start of this race. Hopefully the guys are able to stay in the pack just that little bit more this race. We'll see. The lights are about to come on. Saw Dave Rose flashing the lights ready for the start of this race, getting them prepped. The lights are on. Oh, there was a car that we lost. Oh, that was the safety car just going in the pits. And off they go, they're underway. So that looked like a really good start from Matt Johnston, actually. As I come into turn 1, is he alongside Matt Davies? No, not quite. They're all going to file through. Let's have none of that camera, because that was rubbish. Let's move across. So Matt McKenzie's going to lose some positions here. Ian at the back, but everyone appears to be through okay. So Jake does get a really, really good start on that front row from 2nd place, and he gets himself up into the lead of this race. Is Tom into 4th? Oh, really does. He's got a little bit of a nudge from Dan Lewis there, but nothing untoward. They've both managed to jump Matt Cross actually on this first lap, so apologies there, I missed that, guys. Whatever happened going into turn 1, I guess, or through that section, but they've both jumped Matt Cross as Dan Lewis is looking for the outside line. He gets the car turned, but he's on the grass. He should probably lose a little bit of momentum there. Tom's going to try and squeeze him and hold on. Oh, that's a terrible camera, sorry. So we come into turn 1 to Tom, does keep position. I think he got a little bit of a tap on the rear end there from Dan Lewis as they came through the corner, but if anything, it just helped Tom. And Dan Lewis is going to have to be careful because Matt Cross is there and he's going to be looking at a move soon as he can. He knows he's got some decent pace in that car. The front 3 are still right together as well, so Matt Johnston got away with the 2 leaders and he is sticking with them for now. We'll have to wait and see how it goes as this race unfolds. So yeah, just keep on board with these guys, see if any moves are going to be made. So come down to Lodge Corner again. Any moves towards the back? Not currently. Everyone's still just in a line, not making any sense. Dan Lewis is looking again at trying to get himself alongside Tom. Chris Brewster's just making a position there. Oh, certainly battling with Dave Rose. Lost out to Matt McKenzie in the opening stages, and Ben is hanging on to that 12th. Oh, as Chris goes fully sideways through turn 1. Ben Hanks did really well to avoid that, and Joe Challoner. So Ben and Joe, along with Mark Raddenbury, who's having a look now. He goes on the inside through the left-hander and he's going to get the car stopped for the right. He certainly does. So Joe got that wrong, but he got the right-hander perfect there, and he's going to send it back down the inside of Mark Roddenberry. They go side by side and leave each other plenty of room, so some great racing there between them two. Still going to go side by side through under Clay Hill Bridge and into the right of Druid. So Joe does get that place back as he got the car sideways and lost momentum. Not quite, but I think Mark has in trying to avoid Joe. And Chris Brewster immediately on the tack, and he's going to look to go down the outside, but Mark covers that off, it appears, at the minute, as Chris just dips some wheels into the grass. So yeah, some really good clean racing between those guys there. Left each other enough space, but made no contact, so it was great to see. So yeah, the guys have made it through those opening couple of laps, thankfully with no need to bring out a safety car, so everyone is able to just get on with their races as it stands. And Jake has actually managed to gain just under a second now over Matt Davies in second, so having an absolutely brilliant start to this race. And it means that Matt Davies is having to look in his rearview mirror rather than what's in front of him, as Matt Johnston's got to run through Druid and is pulled out to go alongside. He's going to try and do him on the brakes, isn't quite able to manage it. He's got that extra ballast, remember, in that car, 30 kilos, and it is making a bit of a difference. But we know Matt Johnston, he certainly won't give it up, and if anyone can make a car work with extra weight, it's him. Tom in fourth at the minute behind him, so Tom staying nice and consistent, which I think has been his aim anyway. He knows that that's the only way he's going to be able to do anything in this championship. He has to stay consistent, get the good results, maybe get some of them reverse grids, and to gain the points back and keep the fight up with Matt Johnston. I think we got any other battles just as these guys start to settle a little bit. We've got Harrison holding up Matt McKenzie at the moment. So we've got the two mini eggs cars, 6th and 7th, as Matt McKenzie has a look down the inside, but move not really on there. Unfortunately, it looks like Ian's dipped out again, so I'm going to say probably internet issues that he's been suffering all evening, as Matt McKenzie has another look at Harrison. But again, that move not on, probably just a little bit of patience needed there. And in fact, it's cost him dearly, because Dave Rose has got himself alongside. Dave, who will be battling with... Oh, Dave not able to make that move, but yeah, Dave will be battling with Harrison for top armors. Matt McKenzie goes rally crossing, doesn't lose any time though. Plenty of grip on that grass, it seems, and there's Ben Hanks in 10th, who's broken away from Joe Challoner, so Ben doing a cracking job. We've almost got the three AM-class cars together on circuit. So it's doing what we set out to achieve, really, by introducing the classes into the racing. Just means that some of the other drivers do have an opportunity to have a championship and that to race for. People of their own sort of skill levels. As you can see, they're all within one straight. The three guys there, as Mark Roddenberry had a nightmare coming out of Druids there. Just saw in the background, so unfortunate for him, he's in the barrier. Who else is running close by? So Matt Cross in 5th place. He was only a 2/10 advantage over Dan Lewis. Dan Lewis must have made a mistake there, as everyone in front is just starting to spread out that little bit again. We'll see. Old Joe and Chris Brewster are swapping positions on the leaderboard, and that's a great move by Chris Brewster. Is he able to keep the momentum on the outside? He's certainly going to keep the car there. We saw it with Mark. It worked with Mark. It didn't quite work with Chris. He's okay though. He manages to avoid going in the barrier. He manages to avoid the hole in the circuit, the hidden danger of this mod. And there goes Ross Parker right round the outside. There's a little bit of contact. I think that was door to door. May have been a clip of the curb for Chris. Ross Parker survived and is already on the offensive, trying to get himself past Joe Challoner's car there. He's got a tuck right under and he goes to the left hand side, so Joe defending really early. Must have known he got a poor exit out of Lodge Corner. And Ross has to settle and tuck back in behind Joe, so he's going to have another look soon though. Already alongside actually, as they come into the little left-hander. Ross thinks the better of it and Joe goes wide, but he's able to recover the car. Thought for a minute he was potentially going to lose that on the grass, but he was able to recover it and keep hold of that position. Just see there is some battles a little bit further up as well that we'll have a cut to in a second. Don't think Ross is close enough at the minute, so we'll have a look at this battle instead between Matt McKenzie, Dave Rose and Ben Hanks. So you've got Dave Rose in front of Ben Hanks, to say them two in the AM class, so Ben looking to try and get himself into second place in that class at the moment, with Harrison who's just in front of these guys. And it's not far from Matt Davies. Matt Davies has done a 118, so there's been an incident somewhere or a mistake. But Matt Davies is down to 6th, so that puts Matt Johnston up into 2nd. I just saw Dan Lewis's name has gone up as well. Oh, Matt Cross. Matt Cross was just recovering there. He saw in across the grass and onto the track, so Matt Cross lost a position as well, plus lots of time. So Tom Simpkins has managed to work his way up into the podium position. As we said, just stayed consistent, stayed on the circuit. He's got himself up onto the podium and right behind Matt Johnston, who's 3.5 seconds behind Jake Biggerstaff at the moment. So Jake absolutely cruising away at the moment. Just keep an eye on these guys. Anyone else able to do anything? So there's Matt Cross, as I say, in the pro class with that black sun banner at the top of the windscreen. You see his teammate who's behind the Nescafe of Matt Davis. Matt Davis clipping the grass again. He's certainly risking it, trying to make up those positions. I think he'll be annoyed because he knows he's got the pace to be right at the front of this race, so whatever mistake was made, it's cost him dearly. Especially when we've not got too many laps left to run. This race absolutely flying by yet again. Just have a look back at this battle, these guys closing up once again. Is Ben Hanks able to do anything about Dave Rose? Doesn't appear so at the minute. They're all pretty close on pace and following each other well. And just see how these guys get on. So who else is, should we see? So Ross Parker at the minute in 12th place. So Ross Parker would be on pole as it stands for race 3, but Chris Brewster's only 2 tenths behind him, so I would imagine that battle's going to rage on to the end of this race. Would normally be sort of less of a portion of the grid that the reverse grid would do, but unfortunately we've not got our full capacity of registered drivers for this evening, but the guys that are here racing are producing some great racing as always. In fact, we'll just have a look, just see how they're getting on. So there's Joe Challoner, who I think's had another mistake because he's dropped right off, and Ross Parker's all over the back of him now. As they come through Lodge Corner then to complete another lap. We've only got the 3 laps to go now. Jake's still out front, nearly 4.5 seconds, so he's comfortably got this race in the bag, provided he makes no silly errors. Excuse me. Oh, Harrison's had a major off, and he's going to go down to 13th. So that's such bad luck. He was running in 7th place. Yeah, he was running in 7th place, and now he's dropped down to 13th, and he's over 2 seconds behind the guys in front of him, and that's going to ruin him for his race 3 as well. Joe wants pole position. Yeah, maybe it is tactical, but it's probably less risky now than it was. It does mean that Dave Rose is your current AM class leader in front of Ben Hanks. So Ben just dropped nearly a second behind now, so I think Dave Rose, in fact Ben was actually quicker on that lap, so I was going to say as Dave managed to pick up the pace a little bit. We saw how quick Dave was in the first couple of rounds, especially at Donington where he qualified 4th. But it's still... Oh, as Matt Davis had another mistake, so he's going to lose out to Dave Rose, is he? Dave's certainly going to be alongside him. He's not going to give that position up. Excuse me, again. So Matt Davis does manage to cling on to 6th place. He loses out... oh, no, I think he was trying to chase down Matt Cross, sorry. So he doesn't lose a position. He nearly did, though. Nearly very costly. Yeah, Dave Rose and Matt Johnston, the teammates, gaining good points in this race. See him come down to Lodge Corner yet again. So, just cut back to Jake, who's on his final lap as it stands. Got that 5-second gap over Matt Johnston in second, who in turn has 1.7 over Tom. There's Tom in the Red Bull car. Not able to quite live with those guys in front of him, probably due to some of the battles as well. And Dan Lewis, that would be comfortably his best result as it stands. In front of Matt Cross, Matt Davis. Just come back to these guys briefly before we have to go back to Jake, who's going to be somewhere near the end of the lap now. If it'll click, yeah, it goes into Lodge Corner for the final time of race 2, and it will be a race 2 victory, a comfortable victory in the end for Jake Biggerstaff as he crosses the line there. Just try and zoom in a little bit, just make it a little bit easier. So in front of Matt Johnston, Tom Simpkins, there's Dan Lewis in 4th. Matt Cross finishes 5th in the end. And there's Matt Davis, and Matt Davis holds on to 6th in front of Dave Rose, who wins the AM class, in front of Ben Hanks and Matt McKenzie. Joe Challoner finishes 10th in front of Ross Parker and Chris Brewster. So Chris Brewster will get the reverse grid pole position. And then we've got Harrison Fulton in 13th, and Mark Raddenbury, who unfortunately hasn't finished this race, is in 14th place. And I think Ian, seeing you've subscribed to the channel, so thanks Ian. I'm guessing you're still having issues with your internet, mate, for racing. I'll try and catch up with some of the messages I've had. So just waiting for, so that's the guys coming around again. I think it's just Mark's car that we're waiting for. Oh, there we go, so it has finally ticked over. So the grid has all lined up again. We will change camera. That should hopefully... Oh, we'll leave... Do we leave it like that? We'll leave it like that for this one. We'll be able to see what's going on well enough, I'm sure. So yeah, it'll be another 3-minute wait time just for the start of the race, so obviously we're already under that 3 minutes. And I'll just reiterate that we should have we've got a couple spaces left in the group for the Clios, so we can accommodate for a couple more drivers as it stands. There might be some culling of the members that are signed up. Actually, if they've not done any of the first 3 rounds, we're going to have to start looking at maybe removing some of those guys, because it is frustrating. We want people to register, we want people to race with us, we don't want gaps on the grid. We like the grids to be as full as we can get them, and it just in turn creates more racing for everyone. So yeah, we've got a couple spaces potentially for the Clios, and then our Sunday series, which is with Assetto Corsa Competizione, and we are running the Lamborghini Super Trofeos at the moment for that. It's the older version of the car. I think it's the 2015 car. We started the series before we did the before the DLC pack came out, so we'll be running those for another 5 rounds. So there's plenty of time, plenty of spaces on the grid left for that one. In fact, 6 rounds for that. And then we have a couple more rounds of the joint venture we've got with Positive Perception and the boys, the Positive Slip Boys Teams Enduro. So they're 2.4 hour races, which is a team race. We tend to have teams of 2, so it's, if guys go half and half, it's an hour and 12 minutes each. So we do them once every 3 weeks. And also, just to plug, we are going to be running our charity race again on the 1st of May after we did such a good success last year. So there'll be more plugs for that in the future. Anyway, for now, the lights are coming on and we will get underway for this race 3, the reverse grid race. So hopefully we'll see a little bit clearer this time. Joe looks to have got a really good start, but Ross gets the best start from the front. So Ross immediately goes to the front, but all 3 go really wide. Joe, rear end of that car, went way up into the air, and I think he definitely spun. Oh, that's a safety car. There is a safety car to be called. Definitely. So if everyone can race to the line, hopefully that's got to be called. Yeah, that was a bit of a mess. That we saw Joe losing the rear of the car and spinning, so I'm hoping that Niels will be out on the circuit in a minute. Yep, he's waiting at the end of the pit lane. So Chris Brewster actually managed to get back to the lead of this race, so they have been racing to the line, which is what we wanted. Ben Hanks is in 3rd, so Ben's had a great start and managed to keep himself way up there on the grid. So Chris hopefully will start to slow down. There he goes as he catches up to that safety car of Niels. Yeah, just a bit of a mess there. I didn't see exactly what was going on. I was trying to call the safety car in the end, but yeah, we just saw the 3 cars across the grass on the inside on that left-hander. Certainly a Mini Eggs car involved with it, I believe. So Dave Rose, unfortunately, at the back of the grid as it stands. There's Mark Roddenberry, Harrison, so I think Harrison was involved potentially as well. So Matt Johnston in 11th place at the moment. So Tom's made one position up. Where did he start? He started in 10th. So yeah, so Tom's made 1 place up. He's got that position off Joe after Joe's turn 1 instant. Yeah, it was a scruffy start really for those 3 guys at the front. They all went wide. And Joe's car hit some of the bumps offline. Apologies, I haven't messaged for the safety car to come in. Yeah, so we'll go around once more. That's everyone. Oh no, they have got going again. Apologies, that is my fault. I didn't put the message to Niels, so sorry Niels if you're listening. I got that wrong, so the guys have got going. It's a problem with trying to do everything at once, so I'll probably get it in the neck for a poor restart there, but yeah, that's my fault. I should have messaged Niels about that. Anyway, we are underway, and Matt Johnston immediately gets himself back past Joe, so that is a great start for Matt Johnston. He's right on the heels of Tom Simpkins immediately, so Tom is going to be defending like crazy in this race, I would imagine. So we see the cars go through Druids and down towards Lodge Corner. We've got that, made that breakaway from Ben, who's got Matt Cross coming down the inside of him. So Ben left that little bit of room. He's got Matt Davies coming alongside him as well now. So Ben's going to have to be careful here. Try and close that door soon enough. Not giving up the position easily. But yeah, it does slot back in. So he's in front of Dan Lewis now, who in turn's in front of Jake Biggerstaff, so they're both in the default livery of ours. As Ben actually goes back on the attack after a mistake by Matt Davis, it looked like. And there goes Dan Lewis down the inside, so a little bit of door rubbing, but nothing too untoward there, and it was a good move. But unfortunately, it's going to leave Ben out to hang out to dry, as Jake Biggerstaff looks to get the move done as well. Ben fighting back though, he forces him onto the grass, and he gets the car back in front, ready for Druids. So Ben not giving up and into 6th place as all the pack starts to close up again. There goes Jake looking for the outside line. He's got the car stopped and he's got some great momentum on the other side, so it's a really good move from Jake there. Chris Brewster's just starting to stretch his legs a little bit. He's just on a 107.2, so it's a quick lap from him. Puts him a second to the good on Ross Parker. As everyone files the way through. These race 3s have been excellent so far in this series, and this one living up to it as well at the moment. You just see Ross Parker and Chris have made a breakaway in the early runs of this race. Matt Cross is a couple seconds behind. Whether he's able to breach that gap over the next 9 laps, we'll have to wait and see. As Jake is desperately trying to work his way past Dan Lewis, he pulls out from behind that car, is alongside going into Lodge, and he will get that move done nice and clean as you like. See Tom there has got himself past Matt McKenzie, so he's now got a car between himself and Matt Johnston, which is what he needs. He needs to try and capitalise as much as he can with these, as Matt McKenzie has got it all wrong. So as he cuts back across the front, it was all out of control, and he's going to lose out to Joe as well potentially there. No, he does hold on to that position. So after what I was saying about Tom having a car between himself and Matt Johnston, that's all gone to ruin already, and Matt Johnston's right on the attack. Tom will not give that position up without a fight though, and guarantee it. Not an easy person to overtake on the circuit. Always clean, but yes, certainly not easy to overtake. Down towards Lodge Corner again, so that's Ben Hank's car that's sort of next on the list for those two. Ben just falling away from Dan Lewis and Jake in front of him, but still holding his own. Yeah, 108.6, so not his best laps as Tom looks to get a run. Matt Johnston was really wide there. unable to make a move. He's looking, he's not going to get it done. Matt Johnston trying to take the ideal line and route through there. It might work out for him as well as he gets the nose. No, he doesn't quite get the nose alongside. Looked like he might have just snuck the nose down the inside there, but not able to pull it off. Meanwhile, we'll just cut back. So battle for third place is heating up as Matt Davies gets a brilliant run through Druids there. Not quite able to get himself alongside, down towards Lodge Corner again. He's going to go for that outside line. He's got Jake Biggerstaff, who he's been battling with all night, looking as well. So as Matt Davies tried to take that outside line, he's actually going to lose out potentially here. He doesn't quite, he's able to get that car back in front of Jake before they make it to turn one. To Matt Davies desperately trying to get himself down the inside of Matt Cross. Matt Cross is wide, all over the grass, rally crossing, and here comes Jake as well. They're going to go too wide through the left. There's a bit of door rubbing, but they all make it safely through in the end into the right-hander. So we've got that train of 4 cars now. Dan Lewis joining in this battle. It's currently Matt Cross holding them up. So we'll come through 2 Druids again. Guys a little bit more settled this time. Although Jake pulls out early, so he's going to go to the outside line again. We've seen it favoured this evening by him. Oh, is it? There's contact as Matt Davies was looking to try squeeze him, and there's contact there. It didn't look as though to me that Jake had anywhere to go really. He was on that left hand side. He committed to that move early. Matt Davies, in my opinion, just from that clip, appeared to move across the front of him as Jake goes wide and his car's kicked up on the grass. He's going to struggle to retain control of this. He's going to go into the barrier. No, not quite. He's got the car stopped, but he's lost all momentum. Here comes Matt Johnston, and here comes Matt Davies back to his rear bumper. Oh, Chris Brewster! Chris Brewster was absolutely miles in front. As far as I remember when I saw, he had a comfortable lead over Ross, so Chris has thrown away the lead of this race. Excuse me. He's now got Matt Davies alongside. Matt Davies is in front of him, in fact. And here goes, that's Jake as well, so yeah, that's Jake. So Jake has lost out to Matt Davies as well. I wonder what's happened. Is that Tom? Tom's in 12th. I didn't see Tom have fallen down the grid as well, so Tom's had an incident somewhere as well. So Tom, after making plenty of moves and working his way up the grid, is suddenly down in 11th position. And he's 10th place now. So Chris Brewster's had another nightmare there. As a look at the timetables, yeah, Chris has lost more positions. So Tom being in front of Matt Johnson. Oh, that was Joe. I'm sure I just saw Joe. Yeah, in the gravel. So Joe having probably his worst evening for a long time. Really not gone well for him. Oh, Ben Hanks there in 13th, so I think Ben's had a bit of something go on as well in this race. All kicking off now. So Ross Parker has now got a 1.8 second lead, so that gap to Matt Cross has actually come down a little bit. Matt Cross is freed from the cars behind him, so he's able to run his own pace and his own lines without fear of being attacked. And he's got 4 laps in which to try and do something to catch up to Ross Parker. So he gained about 6/10 on that lap. He might be able to get to the back of him before the end of this race. We'll have to wait and see if he can do anything in terms of making the overtake. He's still potentially got a chance to get on the rear bumper and have a go at Ross Parker before the end of this race, though. Just cut back. So there's Matt Johnston in 4th, in front of Matt Davies and Jake Biggerstaff. Matt McKenzie's in 7th, in front of Dave Rose in 8th. Dave Rose, our your current AM class leader. And then Tom Simpkins, who's got himself into 9th place In front of Mark Ranbury as Matt Davies clips that inside curb on the apex of Druids and gets fully sideways, so he's lost momentum again. And Jake will be right back with him. Yeah, Chris Brewster's in 11th in front of Harrison Fulton and Ben Hanks. So Ben Hanks is about 8/10 off Harrison. So that's the other two M-Class drivers this evening that we have. Oh, sorry, no, Mark is in amongst that. Apologies, Mark. So Mark currently second in M-Class. Matt Davies goes really wide again, and he's going to clip the grass. The car goes into the air, and that's a position lost. So all those guys are making the same mistakes really through to turn one, trying to carry too much speed and momentum through there and getting themselves onto the grass and causing havoc. Just have a look back at the leaders. That gap down to 9/10. Let's see what the lap time will be as they come to finish this lap. So they're going to go into Lodge Corner. He's already started to flash the lights, Matt Cross. Just letting Ross know that he's coming. He's hunting him down. So they're going to cross the line. There's going to be a good chunk of time taken out this time round. Yeah, another 4/10. Got 2 laps to go, so Matt will be desperately trying to get as close to that rear bumper of Ross as he can. It's already down to half a second, so he's going to get there before the end of this lap. To break down into that right-hander. He tries to take a bit of a shortcut there, Matt Cross. It's actually cost him time. He took too much curb on the inside, and it cost him a few tenths. That might be enough to cost him a chance at the victory. That's the sort of margins we're looking at. Just those couple tenths can make or break the races for you. So it's 8/10 still. So he's got a lot to overcome if he's going to do anything to try and overtake Ross as they're coming through to start the final lap. Thank you to everyone that is watching. Please don't forget to subscribe and like the streams as well. So it's a good lap from Ross actually that time round. So 107.6. Despite Matt Cross's mistake that cost him just those couple tenths, it was actually a good lap from Ross. It's down to half a second again, and it's less than that as they come to the braking zone. So Matt Cross needs a better run through this time, which he does get. So it remains at half a second as they come through the right-hander. So Matt Cross is going to have benefit of a little bit of slipstream up here, and then they're going to go into Druids. So it's still going to take an almighty effort through Druids for Matt Cross to get the run on Ross Parker. Following through, it's down to 3/10. He's certainly closing. He's not quite close enough. Ross just needs to keep it neat and tidy here, which he does. So it should be Ross's victory. As the cross line, there's Joe. Was waiting for these guys to finish. And Dan Lewis with his best result, a podium position for him in front of Matt Johnston. Matt Davies beats Jake Biggerstaff in the end. Matt McKenzie's 7th. Tom is in 8th. Dave Rose 9th. Mark Ranbury in 10th. Here comes Harrison in 11th in front of Ben Hanks. Joe we've just seen have finished. And Chris Brewster is already in the pits. So that is all the runners in this race. And a great race that was. Plenty of battles up and down the field through that one. So yeah, good to see that again. Some great racing all evening. And again, a thank you to the guys that are watching. It's much appreciated. I'll just cut to my other scene. Yep, it's not muted me. That's good. Yeah, cheers Ash for tuning in. Yeah, as we say, big thanks to everyone that's been watching. If you've liked the stream, please subscribe and like the the video and the channel, we do have a little we do have links to our Discord and our social medias and stuff below if you want to get involved, if you want to chat to us, find out where our mods are and all that kind of business. Please use the links below. We do have a little link below as well for any little donations or anything to help us with running the servers. You know, we can't. It's not free to hire these servers. We do have to pay monthly subscriptions for them, so that would always be appreciated as well. But yeah, certainly would appreciate anyone coming and helping us out and getting involved with the racing, really. Big thanks to Niels as well for driving the safety car this evening. And I will do a quick shout out at the end of the stream as well to Jamie Purcell, my former commentator, co-commentator, who's stepping down from sort of any active roles in terms of the admin of Slip and Grip Sim Racing. And we certainly wouldn't be where we are now if it wasn't for Jamie's hard work in the early days of this group in getting things set up. So quick shout out to Jamie and the thanks for all that hard work over the pandemic in keeping this group running and moving along, and hopefully we can continue with that and race with him in the future. So yeah, big thanks everyone again, and please join us again next week at the same time, 7:15. Bye for now.